Well, the Venice Indians brought home the gold Saturday from Orlando, so let's take a look at how they did it. And anyone who's watched the Indians this season knows going to start with these two. Bryce Carpenter finds Javon Hiley on a big third down conversion early on. Then Carpenter is going to find some room on the right side and take it into the end zone to give the Tribe an early 7-0 lead on their opening drive of the game. And take a look at that crowd. Almost the entire city of Venice was in Orlando supporting their Indians. And Carpenter again is going to find a hole and take it deep into Bartram Trail territory all the way down. They could not bring this guy down all afternoon, and he's going to cap it off here with his QB keeper, and the Tribe is rolling in this one. Now, check this out. Before the half, kicker Zach Sessa, who already made a field goal at this point, puts one in from 45 yards. He had one heck of an afternoon for Venice, making 3 field goals. Second half now, who else but number 12, Bryce Carpenter, again for the hat trick. Venice is just on an absolute roll at this point. And speaking of being on a roll, that's what 12-6 have been all season long and pretty much for the past 3 years. So, you know, they wouldn't stop on the grand stage. Javon Hiley from Carpenter right there, and that sets up another Carpenter touchdown. And the Venice Indians are your 2017 FHSAA 7A state champs with a 37-24 win over the Bartram Trail Bears for their second state title in school history, first in 17 years. And the star of the show was quarterback Bryce Carpenter, who capped an incredible high school career on Saturday. Bryce had 40 carries for 214 yards and 4 touchdowns, not to mention 180 yards through the air as well. Now, this kid has been a competitor since the day he walked into Venice High School, and he would not be denied a state title. Now, we caught up with him after the game, and you can imagine his emotions were running high.
I mean, I just feel great. You know, it was a great team win by everyone. We worked so hard for this moment, and just unbelievable opportunity.
And now Carpenter is graduating early, actually, and will be enrolling early at Coastal Carolina in a few weeks to start the next stage of his football career. And we talked a lot about number 12, but the unsung hero on Saturday was kicker Zach Sessa. Now, he hit 3 field goals from 26, 28, and 45 yards. Not to mention, almost every single kickoff was a touchback, meaning the Bears would have to go 80 yards every time they received the ball if they wanted to score. So to take the return game away from the opposing team at the high school level is such a huge advantage that Venice used all season long. And we caught up with him too post-game and asked what it was like kicking in a big stadium and if it was any different for him.
I just kind of thought, you know, I've done this thousands of times. I've done it in practice, I've done it in other games.
And you see him right there soaking it all in. Sessa will be back next year, one of the few Venice players returning, and I'm sure lots of schools will be looking to enlist his services at the next level as well. And it was funny, I have to toot my own horn here a little bit, Kathy. I had called it a little bit early on in that second quarter because he had the wind at his back. I mean, the wind was really high in that stadium. And he's a great kicker. You know, I watched him plenty of times. I'm like, I bet you he'd be good from about 45 yards today. And doesn't he nail one right down the pipe at the end of the first half? It's really good to do it in a big stadium like that. I mean, it's great.
I'm so proud. The Suncoast is so proud of him. So yeah, great story, great weekend. Yeah,
it really was. We got plenty more on them, and I'm sure that we'll be out there. I think they're having a victory parade this week at some point too, so I'm sure we'll be out there as well.
Love it.
Title town is Venice. They got this volleyball championship, now football.
Exactly.